One of my favorite analysts on YouTube just talked about the golden zone for Bitcoin. This is a battleground right now where Bitcoin's at. And last night we kind of bottomed around 89,000. Now we're starting to jump back up. Even though the traditional market was a bit shaky today, Bitcoin moved up about $3,000. And it's at a very key point. I want to explain that to you today. And this is kind of the line in the sand for even the people that are bullish right now, where I think a lot of people would turn bearish, at least, short term, right? At some point, you have to be willing to call a market a bear market. If we fall down 40, 50, 60% and we go sideways for a year, that's a bear market. So the question is now, what happens? Like, are we going to hold this support or do we break down below it? I want to show you what the analyst said. This is Tyler Hill. I really like his channel. I'm stealing his video here, but credit to him. Check out his channel. Also, we have a whale that just is idiotic, in my opinion. Maybe not idiotic. That's a bad way to put it. But, not every whale is a genius. So we'll look at that too. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to join the Telegram, more people have been getting kicked off YouTube recently that talk about crypto. So join my Telegram. So that way, if something happens to my YouTube channel, you can still get videos. If you want to trade crypto, check out BYDeFi. We opened up a new trade last night while one of our other ones closed. We're up 17% on it. I really like BYDeFi. You can trade crypto with crypto if you want using CoinM, or you can just keep it simple with the USDT. We have a deposit event going on right now where you can get between a 10 to 50% bonus. The more you deposit, the more you get in bonus. And we just finished this trade and earn $10,000 worth of Bitcoin event. If you haven't already claimed that, go into your reward center. But we're going to do more of these in the future. These are great ways of stacking some extra crypto by just trading on a platform that you would already trade on. So check that out underneath the video. Let's also roll the disclaimer. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. Do your own research. I'm never going to reach out to you either in the comment section or through any other means to try to get you to invest in something that I'm investing in or to send me crypto. Some links underneath the video are affiliate links. I may earn a commission, but this is at no extra cost to you. Of course, do your own due diligence. All right, with all that out of the way, all the intro, the couple, promotions, the self promotions there. Bitcoin's at a very interesting point. We broke above this previous support line at 92,975. So we broke up to 93.7. That's good. If we could actually flip this back into support and continue a rally up, that would be extremely bullish. Now, zooming out a little bit, Tyler's going to break down this key golden zone in a second, but look at this. An unknown whale dumped 31,000 Ethereum 6 hours ago, taking an $18.8 million loss in 2 weeks. The whale had been buying the dip from November 3 to November 10, buying 30,838 Ethereum at an average price of about 3,600. This is kind of crazy. I mean, hopefully, for this person's sake, this is not the exact bottom. Imagine you put $110 million into crypto, 2 weeks later sell it, and you sell at the local bottom or the bull market bottom. That would be tough to swallow. An $18 million loss plus all the upside that you lose out on too. Kind of surprising, but whales, I think a lot of the time we think that they have information we don't, but sometimes they're just people with lots of money that like to trade and want to make more money. So, it's kind of interesting there. Let's see what Tyler has to say about this golden zone and what this means for crypto, where Bitcoin is right now.
Just know this gold box right here that ranges between $91,300 and $83,000 is the most important level of support on Bitcoin's chart right now from a structural perspective. And it is the strongest level of support right now on the Bitcoin price right now from a structural perspective. And knowing that, it means that Bitcoin is about to have a major decision to make. If Bitcoin's price is capable of using this golden zone and establishing support, using that support to continue back upwards, we easily could see Bitcoin's price push all the way back up to $108,000 or maybe even back up to $115,000. Now, pushing all the way back up to an all-time high will be much more difficult right now, of course, but it is still very possible. That's how strong this golden zone of support is. But knowing this and knowing how strong this support is, listen to me very closely. If Bitcoin's price falls below this golden zone, which ranges between, again, $91,000 and $83,000, the likelihood that we are entering into a more macro downtrend and a macro bear market becomes the higher probability. Okay? What does that mean? It means that a bear market, if that's what you want to call it, or a macro downtrend, which is what most analysts call it, is much, much more likely if Bitcoin falls below $83,000. Now you may say, Tyler, why? And this is the simple reasoning. When a crypto falls below the golden zone, it is incredibly likely that that crypto is then going to retrace back down to the low in which created the golden zone. And if you watch my tutorial on it, you know that that is this low right here at $75,000. And so that means that if a crypto like Bitcoin was to fall below 83K, it is incredibly likely that it starts to capitulate all the way back down to $74,000. And I'm under the belief that in moments during bull markets, when Bitcoin retreats all the way back down to structural lows, the likelihood of the bull market being over starts to become much, much higher. Okay, there has not been one time that I could find in history that Bitcoin has gone all the way back down to its previous structural low and the bear market was not here. Okay, I've not found that one time. And then you mix in the fact that, yes, we would have fallen below the 50 EMA and the 50 MA. You would have started to notice that basically all of our indicators for reset. It's a reasonable case. It is like, we're probably in some sort of bear market. This is the trigger. Okay, this is the moment, right? I mean, go look at history. For example, Bitcoin's price, it came all the way back down towards lows. Yes, it's seen pullbacks. Yes, it's seen corrective moments. But what it's never done is fallen below structural lows. It's never come all the way back down to a big low. Let's just make it very simple words. A big low. Yeah, I mean, it's never, not once, come back down.
Okay, so I think the line in the sand for Bitcoin is 74,000. Right? I mean, we can close a little bit below this 50-week, and that's bearish. That will turn some people bearish, thinking the bear market's here. But there are enough people right now. I've been talking to a lot of people over the last week or two. There are enough people that still think we're possibly in a bull market that they won't sell. Right? So there are enough people that won't just capitulate. There aren't like bank runs happening on crypto yet. So we're at this no man's land area where, we've seen a 30% pullback, but we've seen that a handful of times in the past. The Fed's still lowering rates, even if not as aggressive in the past. We still have Bitcoin just like less than 2x from the previous all-time high. So there are enough things that make people think that we're not in a bear market. But if we go from 126 down to 74 and we can't hold this, I think that's a pretty good signal that the bear market's here. Right? That's a 41% move. We have not seen a move like that where we continued on in a bull market since the last bull market, and that was kind of the midpoint, right? We saw over a 50% drawdown, but we have not seen anything like that this bull market. The timing matches up with where typical bear markets are. So it's nice to see Bitcoin having a bit of strength. I would love to see a push higher. It'd be great if we can move above this, above the $97,000 mark, $98,000 mark. That's where the 50-week is right now. And then the key psychological level of $100,000. I would not be surprised, even if we saw a bit of a relief rally, and then like if the bear market continued, you'll at least get some exit liquidity if you really are stressed out by this market. But what I'm doing, I'm just accumulating, right? I have a schedule. I'm accumulating right now. I started like back a couple months ago, started to accumulate a small percentage. This is the first time that I bought since back here. I accumulated a lot throughout the bear market. This is my plan. I don't care if we go into a bear market. I'll keep on accumulating. That did really well, even if you bought up at like $40,000, $45,000, $48,000, and then you continue to accumulate throughout the bear market, continue to accumulate, and then take profits during the next bull run. Right? That's the bearish. If we go into a bear market, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll also be opening more leverage trades as we go down, low leverage plays like I always talk about, and it will be a small portion of my portfolio, but I'll mostly be sticking to Bitcoin. Now, that's if we break down, continue down, and there's more bearishness. If we go back up to all-time highs, that would not surprise me. Right now, I feel like there's a decent chance that happens. For the reasons I've laid out in this video. I think there's still a lot of bullish things happening. The market structure bill, or the act, that's fundamentally bullish for Bitcoin, should be approved here in the next 6 months or so. That would be extremely bullish for crypto and Bitcoin. Also, we have the news that broke us up to new all-time highs over the summer. We have crypto coming to 401k accounts. We're going to have the Fed lowering rates. Like, there are a lot of reasons why you might think that we're having a dip right now, but we could go back up to all-time highs. But I want to play that for you. I wanted to talk about this kind of golden zone. I think this is, it's not negative to talk about us going into a bear market, right? The possibility, because there is a possibility. It's stupid to think we're always in a bull market for Bitcoin, because that's just not true. You see 70% drawdowns. That's not a bull market. So it's stupid to think that there is no possibility we see a bear market, or that there's no possibility that we are moving into a bear market. That's just irrational. That's hopium. The question is, what are the chances that we go into bull or bear? And then how are you set up, right? I know there are a lot of people extremely stressed out. That tells you that your plan this cycle didn't work out well, right? Like, either you waited too long to take profits or you're overexposed. So how do you fix that going into the bear market? If we go into a bear market, how do you approach that scenario if we go back into bull mode, right? What are you going to do? Are you going to take profits? Or are you going to FOMO back in if you sell right now? Like, you have to think about the best probability for your portfolio over the long term. For me, I do diversify, right? I've talked about that, for 5+ years when I've been on YouTube. I diversify. I buy things like VOO. Super boring, but it's down, even with Bitcoin down 30% or something, it's down like 3.5%, 4% from all-time highs, right? It's up year to date 13.45%. Last 5 years up 86%. Since the bottom in April, it's up 30+%. So I buy VOO. I bought Meta today. I've talked about Meta before on the channel, but I bought more Meta stock today under 600. This is a 20 or 21 forward price to earnings ratio. The price to earnings ratio is a little bit weird because they had a one-time tax expense. But this is a quickly growing company that's fallen down a lot because they've spent more on expenses recently. But they can turn that off too. So many big companies throwing a lot of money because they're printing money. They're throwing a lot of money at future endeavors, right? At growing their top and bottom line in the future. So be on the lookout. Tomorrow is NVIDIA earnings. NVIDIA is down a decent amount from the recent peak. It went up to almost 210. And now it's down like 12% or so. I think it's actually down more than that, maybe 12 to 14%. So still up 32% year to date since the bottom in April, up nearly 100%. But people will be watching this, and then the next day we have unemployment numbers as well. If you do want to trade, like I said, check out BYDFi. I'm still trading right now. I think this is always one of my favorite times to trade, when we see a big pullback, when a lot of people are bearish and we're down 30%. That's how I've made a lot of money throughout the bull run, is on these big pullbacks. I open up low leverage positions and then I ride them up, and then I take profits as we move up. Now, this is an interesting time because we might be going into a bear market, and I gave some of my thoughts on that recently, but I will be entering new positions and layering down if we continue moving down. There is a bottom. I don't think Bitcoin's going away forever, right? It's not going to zero. So I will layer down even if we go into a bear market. Then I'll sit on those positions if I have to for a very long time. I've done that. I'm still up like 500-600% on some of my positions on Blowfin, for example. That was probably the exchange I have positions open the longest right now. So I still have positions that are up significantly, and I'm keeping some of them open. So if you want to trade, check out BYDeFi. It's my favorite exchange right now. Big deposit bonuses. We're going to do more of these trading events in the future. Of course, approach at your own risk. Someone reached out recently or commented in a video that I should be mentioning that investing is risky, right? And yeah, you're taking risk, but also saving money is risky. Like if you just sit on cash in a checking account or at your house, it's going to devalue over time. Inflation is going to continue moving up. So you have to put it into something that will work for you. The question is what? All right. If you're really risk averse, but you still want exposure to the market, just buy VOO. You never have to worry about selling it unless you think Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Facebook, Meta, Google, all these companies are going to zero. JP Morgan Chase going to zero. Unless you think they're all going bankrupt, you can just buy it and hold it. If you want higher upside potential, buy Bitcoin, or you can buy Bitcoin, right? I'm not telling you to buy it, but there is some level of self-reflection that investing requires, and you have to ask yourself, like, is Bitcoin something that I want to hold on to for the next 5 years? Do I think it's going to appreciate? Right? Do I think it's going to do well, or is it going down and just going to stay down forever? I personally think it's going to do well, so I'm going to continue to dollar cost average into it. But yeah, of course, you have to approach all these assets at your own risk. I've said this 1,000 times, but leverage trading is riskier than just buying crypto. That should be pretty obvious because there's no such thing as a free lunch, and it can go up faster, and you can also lose money faster than other assets or than just buying spot. Yeah, if you understand what leverage is, or you've ever watched one of my tutorial videos, you should know that. If you're thinking about doing something to yourself because you're really depressed at the market, reach out to someone for help, right? Reach out to like a hotline or something like that, or try to talk through your situation with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or something. I feel for everyone in those situations. For everyone else that is just kind of whiny because we're going down and there's not like a psychological level of safety issue there. Like, my heart goes out to everyone that feels that way. But if you're just pissed off because you 100x leverage and you lost money, or you were 100% in on some altcoin, this is why you need some kind of plan. This is why I say that I'm diversified outside of crypto, and why I stick mostly to Bitcoin in the crypto market. I do use leverage. I do have some altcoins, but it's a small portion of my portfolio and something that I'm comfortable with, right? If you dollar cost average over long term, you've made money in Bitcoin. Maybe that's what you have to do. Let me know your thoughts underneath the video. I really do appreciate it. Tyler, thanks for letting me take that clip. I didn't ask him first, but I'm sure that he's okay with it. Thanks so much.